All right, welcome everyone to tonight's episode of the Royal Nugget. I am Coach Sharon, the retirement coach diva, and as always, I'm excited about every guest, and tonight is no exception. Today, I have with us Sophia Lorin, who is a phenomenal yoga instructor, stretch therapist. I can't go on and on about all the talent that this young lady has, and she's going to share with us about our wellness and how we're going to make sure that we are being holistic for our whole selves and just resetting ourselves and redefining our strength beyond the hustle and bustle that our lives have in every day. So, Sophia, thank you for being our guest tonight, and welcome to the Royal Nugget.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be able to share space with you and your network.
Well, we're excited about having you here today. So, what we're going to get off first is just learning about you and how you came to this space of where you are now with what you do with so Fit for You Wellness. Like that's the perfect name. It just blends right in. That you probably is like, I didn't have to think a whole lot about making this name. But just tell us about all of you that you are comfortable with sharing and how you came to this space.
Absolutely. This is actually one of the things I love sharing about. So that's the easy ask, easy task. I am a student athlete who just kind of grew throughout life playing different sports all the way into college and everything. And then it came to a point where I was less active, gained a lot of weight, just from the got a 9 to 5, sitting at a desk, eating whatever I wanted to eat, and gained a lot of weight. And that just began the journey of being a little bit more inquisitive, I guess you could say, about figuring out how do I care for myself when I don't have a coach or somebody yelling at me with the whistle saying like, start, go, whatever, and things of that nature. So that just turned into me going to the gym on my own and, doing the workouts that I was familiar with. Someone saw me at the gym quite often. That was an employee. It was actually LA Fitness. And they were like, hey, you should become a personal trainer. You're in here just as often. You could make money doing this thing. And I was like, okay, cool. And I did that. That was literally just like a seed that was planted. But the real story comes with just being in the right place at the right time and meeting a wonderful woman named Mama Marsha over at Pies Fitness Yoga, who then said, hey, I see all the stuff that you do in wellness. Yoga is really important. It's going to be, really vital to people in the next couple of years. She kind of like saw that in the future. It's very popular now. And now people are actually like tagging into Pilates. And she basically was just like, you should consider getting yoga because you would be able to help your current clients even more, right? Because flexibility and movement as they age is important. And so I was like, oh, okay, consider it. And then she just invited me to join class. And it wasn't even the physical movement of yoga that drew me in. It was the pause, the be present, the spiritual and emotional things that drew me into yoga. I had been a person who always operated very intense, top athlete, doing all the studies, and like I had an academic scholarship, even though I was offered athletic scholarships. Like I was both ends of the spectrum and loved everything I did. So I didn't know how to do things in like calmness or with respect to my own health. And as you get older, it is genuinely important, right, to keep your blood pressure down, to really be conscious of what you're eating, to really take that break, to breathe, and all of those things. And so through the course of studying yoga is when I really discovered that the holistic person and the holistic being is important, and that you don't need to be an athlete to actually need to pay attention to these things, because anything from diabetes to high glycemic index to just many things can then affect you. And then mobility, right? We all enjoy, or at least most of the people in my network and in my circle, we love to dance. We love to have a good time. You love your own independence, just straight
Right.
up. I want to be able to get up when I want to get up and, relax when I want to relax. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to sit on a plane for an extended period of time if you're trying to go traveling. And when you lose your
That part.
mobility, those are the things that like really affect your everyday. And then that affects your mental health. And so from yoga, I actually just discovered through me aging, being a corporate employee while being a bodybuilder, that all of the stuff that I had done to my body since I was 6 years old was taking a big toll. And then my mom was not able to attend my yoga classes because she was diagnosed with spinal stenosis. So she had a really difficult time getting all the way down on the floor and getting up as quickly as would need it to be, excited and like focused into a yoga class. And so that interested me. And again, that place of inquisitiveness, asking questions. And so I found out about stretch therapy so that I could help my mom, and then realize that I have everything I need, from personal training to nutrition to yoga instruction to stretch therapy, to literally help people all the way through their ages. And so that is where I am now. I'm on a holistic place of just wanting to be able to help people, whether you are an athlete or a very busy person or a person who has a sedentary lifestyle and you want to come from being sedentary to then being more active and more mobile. And so that's where I am now.
Yeah, we're going to get back to that about sitting on the airplane. I notice the older I get, the restless I get after a certain amount of time with
Yeah.
being on the airplane. So we're gonna come back to that.
Yeah, yeah.
But one thing that you mentioned that kind of caught my attention is you said you went from being really intense,
Yes.
right, with into changing to that pause and calmness. Tell us how that mind shift, how was that going through that transition, that mind shift? How did that attract you? Because you said it attracted you. What
Yeah.
about it attracted to you? And yeah, tell us that first. What about that attracted you?
I'll be honest, it is still a journey of being in the calmness. I am a lot better at it now. I desire it more, so it's a lot easier now. And so, what it looked like before is genuine resistance. I had a belief that what I did was the weight of my value. How much I did is how much someone would like me, or how I would get promoted at work, or how much money would come in. Like, everything was how great can you do it? How fast can you do it? From literally the corporate perspective as well as the physical perspective. I was a bodybuilder. Like, I was a competitive track lead, nationally ranked. Same thing, competitive softball. Like, I played a lot of sports and did a lot of activities. I was on people's boards. I still am on boards for nonprofits. So it was resistance at first. It was being like, I can't slow down. I can't stop. How can I, start a business? Like, I have a business outside of being a corporate employee, always have. And how do I start a business if I slow down? Like, you got to have a 5 to 9. If you're going to do your 9 to 5, you got to get up 5, you got to work 9, like sleep is for the week, all those things that people like still carry forward. I don't believe in them anymore. But it was
Right.
I literally just felt like that is what was needed to be done in order to be the best version of myself and everything. And what I will say the change was yoga teaches you that there are seasons, and that there's a lot of principles in yoga too. So let me also say, like, I'm just giving like a couple here and there, but one of them is that there are seasons. And there are moments where your body, as well as because we are connected to nature, goes through a place where there's no leaves, there's nothing happening, right? So like winter, the season that we're coming out of or whatever,
Right.
everything is bare, there's nothing happening, it's dead actually. And then
Mhm.
after everything dies off, and then the flowers start to grow, spring happens, you rebuild yourself from the ashes of it all, and then like water yourself and wash yourself off anew. You're that much more beautiful. I think one of my favorite yoga sutras has to do with the diamond that goes through a lot, like very intense
Right.
heat, and then boom, it's a diamond when it's done. The cold like goes through that, and it's the
Right.
same with the oyster, the pearl, right? It is literally a piece
Mhm.
of sand that is just like smush, smush,
Pressure, 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 pressure.
pressure, and then boom,
Yeah.
the pearl.
Right.
So at first it looked like resistance. It just looked like going through so many hard things, so many things that made me tired and exhausted and all this stuff, to then realizing like, just be soft, just relax, and then finding that and this is how I say it, and I just had this conversation with my girlfriend, because I am a worker. I'm a Capricorn. My mom is
Mhm.
naturally a person who works hard, so I get this honestly like very much from her, being very active in things. um, I've already planted the seeds for whatever it is that I desire to have.
Mhm.
when I am going through it, and therefore I'm crying. Those tears are the water that is giving life to those seeds that I've already planted.
Mhm.
Be it the 100 networking events that I've gone to, or the fact that I've done a great project, at my job, or I've been in the gym every day for 2-3 years. So what's wrong with me taking off a month or two? Or I get injured and I have to take some time off to let
Mhm.
the body reheal. I've learned that you just plant seeds and that's your season for sowing. And then
Mhm.
sometimes you just water, and watering is a little bit more slow, and you got to really wait. You got to have the good environment, the good soil, the good sun. And then you have a season where just everything is coming at you. And one of the influencers that I do follow, Christian woman, I think this is very important to saying that. She gave an example one day and she said, I always thank the Lord for the mess and the overflow, because whenever anything overflows, it is messy because it's
Mhm.
overflowing more in abundance than the container that it's fit in. And so
Mhm.
I always look back and take that away as well, and understanding that if I spend all this time watering, when I'm watering and planting the seeds that I'm planting, there will be a day where everything will flow in abundance, and it might get messy. And that too will also feel like a hard moment, but it
Right.
isn't a hard moment because it's what you prayed for, it's what you asked for.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so,
Right.
yeah, definitely more so look like resistance at first, and then understanding that from that resistance, I too could find a place that's smooth and works for me.
That's wonderful, and I love the um, different perspective on the overflow, because
Hmm.
we do normally look at it as abundance,
Yeah,
but that abundance doesn't always have to be something that's positive. It could be, like you said, some messiness
some
in
messiness.
that overflow. And then how do we deal with that messiness? It's a learning journey, like whatever it is that we can learn from the messiness of the overflow, as well as the great abundance that we look at when it is a positive thing. So that's a great analogy. I love the way that person planted that into you.
Yeah.
And so, continuing with about going from intense to calm and pausing,
Hmm.
because as um, as Americans, I'm not going to say
Yeah.
every country doesn't do this, but we are just like you said. We are hustle and bustle, always trying to go, go, go,
Yeah.
do. The saying is, you can sleep when you're dead, but when you're
Yeah.
dead, you dead.
Yeah.
You
You don't even
that's
get to enjoy the rest, right?
right,
Can I enjoy the rest? Can I enjoy the sleep? Sleep is recovery.
right.
Like,
Right, exactly, exactly. So, how do you work with your clients
yeah,
to change that mindset? Because I'm sure when they come in, they're like, okay, I want to do this, this, and this, and this. And you're trying to say, okay, we're not going to do it like this. And how do you work with them to get to, where they understand what pausing and calmness is for them?
yeah. I like to start with the 5 minute fix, 15-minute increments, because I think one of the things I said earlier is now it's something I desire. When I first started rest and pause, it was resistance. And so when you start with, to me at least, for someone who isn't that they're averse, let's say that you're averse to slowing down, or you're averse to meditation or rest or whatever it may be that your doctor is suggesting, whether it be healthy food or more exercise, you are averse to it. I would say let's start with 5 minute increments.
Mm-hmm.
And find a time in your day where that 5 minute works. I do think that you have a lot of people who are like, hey, I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, the early bird gets the worm, da 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 da. If you're not a morning person, and like literally it just does not work with your circadian rhythm, and everybody is
Mm-hmm.
different, or if you have an overnight schedule and you don't get off of work until 7 a.m.,
Mm-hmm.
somebody saying get up at 5 a.m. is the only way that you're going to be able to accomplish this goal, and you believing that makes you never start it, because you don't have a schedule or a life that allows you to do the 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock stuff. So I tell people, find out what works for you and start at just 5 minutes. Build
Mm-hmm.
yourself up to 15 minutes by the second week of what you're doing, but
Mm-hmm.
choose something that is, of course, attainable to you and works for you. And so the 5 minutes can be 5 minutes of meditation. It can be 5 minutes of just breathing very deep. It can be 5 minutes of journaling, literally taking a pen, writing down on a piece of paper, never letting the pen lift up for 5 minutes. Doesn't matter
Mm.
what you write, doesn't matter if you end up drawing something, doesn't matter if you just write your name over and over and over again. But you are focused in on one thing for 5 minutes long, something that is not on your to-do list, like that I have to that makes your heart rate kind of increase because of what you're having to think about and manage while doing it.
Mhm.
It could be 5 minutes of one of my girlfriends. She likes to meditate while washing dishes because it's the same repeat thing
Mhm.
happening over and over again. So it's
Mhm.
really just finding something that allows your body to just kind of come into a calming state. It could be a 5 minute walk. But I always just say start small and then grow from there. By the second week, you do 15 minutes. And then after the 15 minutes, this is where it's what am I exploring? What are my needs? And how do I build something that's more consistent for me? And so if you can find a 15-minute moment in the day, 5 days, 7 days a week, or just 2 days a week, I always say then you can turn that 15 into 30. And
Mhm.
once you hit 30 minutes of anything productive consistently, you are inevitably going to make something better for yourself. So if it was, I am, committed to drinking 5 bottles of water or 3 bottles of water within 30 minutes, I'm committed to
Mhm.
walking this treadmill for 30 minutes. I'm committed to journaling and praying for 30 minutes. I'm committed to reading a new book or reading about a new topic that I want to learn about for 30 minutes. You would be amazed what it is that you could pass. If you were like, oh, I have a certification test that I want to do or something. If you just
Mhm.
give it 15 to 30 minutes every single day,
Mhm.
you're prepared for it. And I think that sometimes the mindset is I have to do this for 2 hours, for 3 hours. I have to do this.
Mhm.
You're thinking about the big, and it's just today. Just
Right.
find 15 minutes today, 30
Right.
minutes if you can. And that's how I start my day.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Starting in small chunks that are good for you, good for that person, wherever it is within the course of that day.
Yep.
Because I know for even for myself, when I think about doing something, then if it seems like overwhelming, I'm not going to do it.
No.
I'm gonna procrastinate to get it done, especially if it's something that I really don't want to do.
Hmm.
But but the way you explained it and how you help your clients, that's a good way to start with, you know, 5 minutes or however, and just gradually work your way up. So, what about those times where you have the clients who are like they come in and they are ready to just like I want to lose 20 pounds,
Hmm.
and I want to lose it in the next 2 weeks,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something, that's unrealistic. Like, how do you work with them with making sure that they are doing what's healthy for them and incorporating again the pause and the calmness that comes with that?
Yeah. Education in those pieces, or those spaces, but also hoping that the person is in a space to receive it. I can
Mhm.
educate, and I have many of people that I have worked with, and I've educated them on what they need to do, and they are committed and they do what they need to do, maybe for 2 weeks, and then they fall off, and the guilt from falling off or the embarrassment of having to come back and tell me, oh, I didn't do what you said do, will pause some people.
Mhm.
Then I have the individuals who, it's for a vacation or for a vow renewal or for a wedding. And once you hit, the goal that you were trying to hit, you're like, okay, well, I'm back to my regular life. Like, okay, cool. And the weight
Right.
comes right back. So what I try to do is educate people that it is a journey. There shouldn't ever be an end date on it. There will be fluctuation. Like I said, there's seasons. We have 4 seasons in the year. We match the seasons. We are nature, in ourselves as one. So there will be seasons where you are the exact weight or the exact look in the body composition that you want to be. And there'll be
Mhm.
seasons where you are not. And that's okay, right? Because if you're just consistent, the winning goal here, and this is a big goal, so I try not to mention this, up front.
Mhm.
But this is what it means to be consistent for a long time. To the same point, I said it from an education perspective. If there was something new that you wanted to learn and you studied it for 15 to 30 minutes every single day, within 90 days, inevitably, you will be great at that thing, a master of that thing, or able to at least start doing it. If it's something that's more or less like, hey, I wanted to learn how to replace the air conditioner. I read about doing it and now I'm replacing air conditioners, and you practice and then you become really good at it and you're able to do it within a certain amount of time.
Right.
Nutrition and weight goals and things in wellness are the same way. If I practice for like yoga, if I practice the splits every day, eventually I'll be able to do it. And there's this wonderful thing we have called muscle memory. The same way that our brain is able to remember things, our muscles are able to remember things. If you actually hit the place of muscle memory for your body, where your body has done something so consistently, even when you take a break from it, as soon as you do it again, your body composition, your body's weight loss, your body's ability to do what it did before will happen again. However, that is where you have to do it naturally. So if I squat every day consistently, and it makes my waist get smaller, makes my glutes tighter, makes my thighs look better. Once I hit, unfortunately, 3 years is what it takes for muscle memory. Once I hit 3 years of doing that, if I were to take 6 months off, all I got to do is work out for another 2 weeks and my muscles will go right back to where they were before.
Okay.
But muscle memory, it takes 3 years. And so that's the piece that I try not to say to someone, because again, I don't want you to focus on that big chunk. I just try to say like, hey, it's just something you got to commit to. It's a journey and you got to do it. But essentially, like, yeah, if you build a habit out physically, 3 years, and you can take time off and you can come right back and work out again and get the look that you want. So,
yeah. I think if I had heard that it took 3 years, I'd be a little discouraged. Like, I got to do this for 3 years just for my body to remember to go back in shape if I take some time off. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
But if we think about our life and how long you've been here on this earth operating, if 3 years started when you were 17, if 3 years started when you were 27, if 3 years has started when you were 37, we're talking in my 40s, my 50s, my 60s, and my 70s. I will always be able to have a body that can bounce back because I gave a strong commitment of 3 years. I mean, 3 years in the big scheme of how long we trying to be here.
Right. 3 years is not a long time, but it's just being that consistent, over doing those things. But like you mentioned before, if we do it in small chunks over a period of time, then it will become habit. And so we wouldn't even think about it, and 3 years would go by really quickly. So, so tell our audience about the programs that you offer at SoPhit4You Wellness.
Yes. So I am a yoga instructor currently right now. It has been corporate yoga classes. So I go into different organizations, nonprofits, businesses, for-profits, and I'll teach yoga classes. Sometimes it's yoga in a workshop. So like yoga for desk workers, if I am working in a corporate space. I have also done yoga in like wellness workshops when I'm working in a space for like employees that are like at retail stores, or they work at a gym and they're trying to have like, a little bit of a change of pace for what they're doing. And then with nonprofits, just depending on like the group of the ages, usually it's nonprofits usually are like youth that are bringing me in. We do yoga, but we kind of make it fun and we teach the kids how to teach each other yoga. So like everyone's kind of like engaging in this conversation of understanding how can they take this back home and do. So yoga instruction is one of the things that I do. I also work at a couple gyms and sub classes for friends who need it. But I like what I'm putting out in the world is corporate space yoga, because I like to be able to like actually like have a little bit of a lesson in it. I also do stretch therapy. So that is a one-on-one session where I am actually stretching your body for you. Because I am a yoga instructor, and again, I believe in wellness and I bring in a holistic practice to everything that I do. My stretch sessions involve deep breath, guided meditation that will allow you to be able to get to your deepest point of the stretch. A lot of people end up falling asleep in my classes. I mean, in my in my stretch sessions. I get a lot of reviews that, oh, it feels like a massage. I feel so calm. I feel so
I was
flowy.
going to ask you about that. So yeah, go keep explaining it up.
Yeah, so there are massage techniques that take place in it. Of course, again, we're trying to get all the way down to the myofascial. So it's like the third layer of your muscle tissue is the goal when we're doing stretch therapy. Um, so there are massage techniques involved in this, but it really is about the stretch. However, when you fully stretch the body, what it does is it brings oxygen into places of your body that usually do not get oxygen. And when you get oxygen fully going through your like blood system as it should, and like its deepest, like more volume type of way, so you're like getting oxygen all through the body. What that does is it wakes up the blood cells, it wakes up the muscles, it wakes up the tissues, and it causes you to actually have like full flow going through the body. And we all know what it means when we lose like blood flow in a certain area of the body. You start to feel like the little tinkles, oh, my leg fell asleep or something like that, because you cut the blood flow off. And so what we're saying is that we're going to like fill your whole body up with oxygen so that your blood flow is really good. And just throughout the day in life, especially as adults who are, constantly working and we don't get outside, we don't really breathe in the right amount of oxygen to our body as we could. So that is another reason. And we don't stretch and open up certain parts of our body as often. If you are a mom, like with the young ones, right? This side of your body where you hold your babies is always closed more than that side of your body, because that's where you hold the babies. If you're a construction worker and you're constantly going like this with a hammer, then this part of your body is closed up more often and contracted because you're constantly putting pressure every day. If you are an office worker, your hips are more closed up. Your knees are not getting as much muscular tension in it, because that's just what you do. So like all of us have like a way in which we show up in the world that causes us to not fully move every single part of our body. And so that's where things like yoga, stretch sessions, and just becoming a person who runs is good. But even a runner, right? The ankles are constantly pounding into the ground. And the way in which you hold your shoulders and your back while you're running also is tightness. And so that's why the stretch is so good, because no matter what it is we're doing, especially if it's something that we repeatedly do, our body is being held in a certain type of way.
Yeah, so let's go back a little bit to what you had mentioned about the stretch therapy. People say it feels like a massage.
Yeah.
And so how is it different from the massage?
Oh, great question. It's different from a massage because it is about elongating the muscles, whereas a massage's intention is to kind of like, I don't want to say rub, like it's a simple thing, but to literally like kind of massage out the tissue. So like, let's say you have a knot somewhere, a massage's intention is to be able to like kind of continue to rub at it until it dissipates, goes away, and it kind of spreads itself and you no longer have that knot in the body. A stretch is meant to take that muscle and lengthen it and make sure that whatever that knot is kind of pulled out. So let's say I have a knot here and I'm like pulling it, so I'm straightening it out. That's one thing, right? That happens along like the femur bone, the calf muscle, places that are longer, bigger muscles. But where our joints are, which is what a massage can't get. So a massage can't massage into your joints. Like it's just not, that's not what a massage therapist do. You can see people do it often to themselves. When they get like a tennis ball or those like it's like a bumpy like roller. It's called a myofascial type of tension thing, and you'll see somebody in the room and they're like sitting on it and they're like rolling back and forth. That is essentially like how you're getting to that muscle down deep that you wouldn't be able to get to with your joints if you just were like, going to a massage therapist at like a regular studio. So when you get a stretch session, not only am I massaging the standard, like longer, bigger muscles that I was referring to, I am also taking the joints and making sure like where your hip bone is, that it is hitting all of the rotations of 360 that it's supposed to hit. Because one exercise that I know that most people don't do unless you have a gym instructor or someone in front of you who is very educated, our hips constantly walk forward and forward and forward.
Right.
And what we do not do is wind them back. And
Yeah,
to
yeah.
wind, your hip is made to go in a full circle. And
Mhm.
rarely do we ever have any type of form of exercise or job that
Right.
requires us to take our legs, stick it out, and go all the way in the circle. So with the stretch, I'm doing that to every single part, like the corners of the shoulders, the hips, your waist, all the way being turned. We are
Mhm.
literally just making sure that every single part of your body is getting the full movement
Right.
possible, because again, the purpose is to get the oxygen all the way into the body. So even like when you go to a chiropractor, they are there to lengthen the spine. We
Mhm.
also lengthen the spine in a stretch session, because the purpose is to stretch you literally from head to toe, corner to corner.
Okay, okay. Well, yeah, I go to a chiropractor, and sometimes they're doing stuff, and I don't understand, like the pulling and things like that. But it's supposed to help. It's
Yeah.
supposed to help. So, you mentioned originally at the beginning of our conversation about your mom and
Hmm.
how she wasn't able to do certain things. And so I
Yeah.
want to hear from you how you work with your clients that might be in their late 40s, 50s, or someone who may not be as mobile or be able
Mhm.
to, get around. Like, what are the things that you do for them to help them to stretch and to be a little more have a little more agility.
Absolutely. The stretch sessions honestly are the best for them. Someone who has a lack of mobility means that they are not able to sit, maybe not able to stand, maybe not able to go down to the floor and get back up independently. Maybe even walking for them, like they're able to walk, but walking is very hard. It is stiff, it is painful. Maybe they have to like have a little bend in the back in order to like kind of get through, or you're using a walker and you don't have it always, at the right height or the best height, whatever.
Mhm.
So mobility issues or concerns can be all sorts of, um, and sometimes it's things that you're born with. So we have to take that into consideration. It's not always from an injury. It's just like how life is. And so what I do for those individuals is really help them when they come into the session, focus on the breath, because they don't have to do anything. I'm going to do the stretching. There is no ask of them. There is no, um, like when you have to walk, you have to put one leg in front of the other. And so for a person who lacks mobility, they understand when I say put that one leg in front of the other, that is a very difficult thing. Um,
Mhm.
if you are someone who has a hard time standing up independently by yourself, that is just something you don't have to worry about in a stretch session. Once you get on the table and you lay down, that's all you got to do is lay down. I do everything else. So
Mhm.
with them, it's breath. And the reason it's so much important for them to breathe deep, and I work with them a lot more on their breath, is because they either have not moved a certain area of their body in a very, very long time, or whenever they do move it, it hurts
Mhm.
so much. And so they are nervous from a muscle memory place again that
Right.
say, if I move my hip, baby, it's going, you gonna
Right.
get like that's why their brain is prepared for that.
Right. Right.
Technique that we use is meant to be painless. It is painless. And I
Mhm.
just need you to learn to breathe with me, because I am. So, this is what I always tell my clients in the beginning, too, whether you have mobility issues or not. Your responsibility is to breathe. I do everything else. I am only moving you on your exhale, because that is when your body has released itself and is at its most comfortable state to move.
Mhm.
And so that's it. And I only move you when your body is at its most comfortable state to move. I don't move you when you're tense. And so when we are trying to move our bodies or do something with ourselves that makes us nervous, we are already tense. And so I just work with making sure that people are as calm as possible. And I will literally, and not pausing like, oh, we just sitting here for 20 minutes and I'm waiting for you to calm down. Because I'm moving with your breath. Let's say your breath pace changes. Let's say you have a moment of nervousness. Like, people don't even know your breath changes with every mood, emotion, or thought that crosses your mind. And so
Mm.
when a person's breath rate changes or flow
Right.
changes, or they, inhale real quick and then they stop, I don't move them during that time period. I'm only moving you at a place when it works for your body.
Okay, okay. So, are there a certain number of sessions your clients should have, or how does that work?
My clients who have an actual diagnosis that prevents their mobility from being, great as they would like it to be, they come to me on a weekly basis at minimum, because the more often that their body is stretched out, because that's what a stretch session is, the more often that their body is stretched out, the least amount of pain that they have, it also decreases their muscle spasms. So I have a number of clients who have different various diagnoses, and a part of that is muscle spasms, right? The nerves are completely stressed. Some of them are not active. Some people can't even feel one side of their body. They can feel the other side of the body. And so when
Mhm.
they come to me, they're like, oh, for 2 days after I saw you, I'm able to like feel. And I haven't been able to feel on my right side in a very, very long time. And so it's like, okay, well then let me keep coming. And so every week they come, and every week their feeling gets better. The muscle spasms decrease, and all the things. So for those individuals who have some type of mobility diagnosis, I definitely say weekly at minimum
Mhm.
is something that works well for them. Then I have individuals who are athletes that are just constantly, wear and tear on the body, inflaming of the muscles because they're tearing in part in order to be able to grow. If you're a person who like lifts heavy,
Mhm.
those individuals will come kind of like every 2 weeks, sometimes once a month, depending on like how active and competitive they are in their like competition season and things of that nature.
Right.
They don't have mobility issues, so it's probably something that they don't think about until it's like, oh, I'm in so much pain that I can't go to the gym again. And so it's
Right.
like, okay, I need to come in here. And that tends to happen every like 2 to 4 weeks. And then I have a couple clients that they're not active. They're sedentary.
Mhm.
They've actually given the feedback that based on them being able to be stretched, their posture changes. And by
Mhm.
them noticing that their posture changes, it just helps them feel more energetic. And things throughout their everyday just feels easier to do. And so they're coming in the same way of just like, I just want to feel more relaxed. And those people I probably see maybe like every 4 to 6 weeks again, because
Mhm.
it's just for health and purpose. Like, yeah, it's just for like wellness, body maintenance. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, I want to tell our listeners that this is just not a conversation between Sophia and I. It's a conversation for you to engage with Sophia to find out, ask questions, and learn more. So please put into the chat, into the comments section, wherever you are, so we can read those comments out and see what it is that you have questions about or you want to say to Sophia.
Yeah.
So, as we are waiting for people to engage with us, I want to ask you this, Sophia. What
Yeah.
if someone just doesn't have, like they're really busy, but they want a few tips on what they can do on their own? What would you share with them?
Oh, if we're talking about movement, I wish I had the video available to me. There's a is a name of it's these Asian movements. They look like movements in Tai Chi. I can demonstrate them better than I can say what the name of them is, but you're basically like waving in the morning. When you first get up out of the bed, you're like waving your arms in a circle like this, and then you're like shifting the body from left to right. And so what you're doing is kind of winding up every single part of your body, but in like a constant movement. It's not. It's called dynamic stretching. So if somebody needed to really actually get that, that's a good term to. That's an American term to Google. Google
Okay.
dynamic stretching, and you would just do that for about 10, 15 minutes again, but every part of the body. So like turn the ankle, turn the hips backwards, like we said, forward,
Right.
head, wave the arms, spin the arms. But that is something that will start to help you with your mobility. If you
Mhm.
do that every single day. Yes.
And it sounds like that we just have to be intentional, right? With making sure that we are doing this on a consistent basis. It's because we want to be healthy. And so you mentioned also that it's not all about the exercise, but it's also about the diet. So
Yeah.
tell us how that plays into all that you do.
So diet is 80% of everything. It's having a great diet is actually what makes you succeed. And so water, like we shouldn't even drink any other juices, to be completely honest, unless it's like a fresh juice from a fruit and you know that's where it came from. I'm a big fan of Turning Natural, so little plug for that Black owned business out here in the DC area. And I also juice myself. I have a juicer. But like no juices from the grocery store. Like no, we should be drinking water. As far as food that we eat, a very easy note of token is stay away from anything white. So, like, I have versions of educating people in the simplest things. Here's 3 things that you can do, and you'll see a change in your body in a month. Drink nothing but water. Stay away from anything that is white, and eat vegetables in a bigger portion size on your plate than everything else. You do those 3 things, you'll see a difference in your body within 30 days. But then I also have the very like intricate way, which is how the business name came about, SoPhit4You. I always started my journey wanting to make individual health plans for people. And so the PHIT is actually, yes, it's sending into my name, but the P was always supposed to be a personal health identity track for a person, because I can go all the way down to like you're diabetic. Okay, we're going to give you a specific diet for that. You have an overnight job. We're going to give you a specific diet for that. You are, I had a friend in college. I'm trying to think of what it is. It's a very severe thing where you're not able to digest a lot of different foods, and it is permanent. It's terminal. But for someone who had that type of thing where you're not able to eat certain foods or a gluten allergy, but this is like way more severe, where like almost everything makes this person feel inflamed. We'll focus on the things that you can eat, and we'll find ways to like make specific recipes that allow you to be able to enjoy this. Because also enjoyment is the number one thing. That's why I always say it's personal to you. Find a time in the day that works for you. Find a meal, a fruit, or a vegetable that you like. If you don't like eggs, then you shouldn't be following a diet that someone gives that says eat 6 eggs every morning.
Mm-hmm.
Like eggs. And that's okay.
Right. Yes, I agree, because I have been on diets where I've been hungry.
Yeah.
But I don't like being hungry.
Understood.
And so, yes, it worked because I lost weight, but I was like, I don't like being hungry. So
right. So you won't keep it. You'll do it just until the goal is hit, and then you're back to your regular life. No, you want to. I want my people to find stuff that you can do every day, normal day, while you're taking care of your kids, while you're on vacation, something that you know how to execute whenever, all the time.
Right. And you also mentioned, if I heard you correctly, that some of your clients have certain diagnoses from their doctors.
Yes.
So, how do you make sure that what you are telling them aligns with what they're hearing from their physicians?
So physicians don't actually give you a diet plan. That is a very unfortunate thing. That's a part of the American like medical system. So therefore, I'm rarely ever saying anything that's in contradiction to your doctor, because your doctor isn't going to tell you something. If you have a nutritionist, a licensed nutritionist, that is great. I'm certified in nutrition, not licensed in nutrition. So if you have a licensed nutritionist, then great. That's the person that you should be listening to. I am also, what I tell a lot of my friends and family members and clients, I am also very well versed in understanding how to manipulate the body to look a certain way that you want it to look. And so a nutritionist, who I value and I think they are amazing, is going to give you the information that you need to change the lab result numbers to what they need to look like. When you take what a nutritionist gives you and you couple it with someone like me, who is a personal trainer, who does holistic stuff, who is also like a girl who's every day in this world, who wants to look good in her outfits, I'm going to take what your nutritionist says and then also put a little bit of a personalized spin on it, because you had mentioned to me that you would like to have bigger glutes and a smaller waist, and you would like to see your breasts lift up higher. Or for a man, you want to have like strong arms and a big, biceps and and back, and you want to see the trunk from the front, I'm going to also give you the things that will allow you to take what your nutritionist said you should eat and then couple it with certain foods at certain times of the day that will
Mm.
the physical look that you want to manipulate the body. So I think it's a pairing thing, right? I'm an expert in body composition because of personal training, bodybuilding, yoga, and stretch therapy. And your nutritionist is an expert in the proper foods that you need to make sure that your lab work looks good. You want to put those two things together if that is of importance to you. And so for my clients, appearance is important to them, but that is also because my clients know me and have, found their existence and rootedness in me from appearance, as well as mindfulness, which a lot of times again goes into appearance, right? It's a spiritual thing, right? If I'm glowing from the inside, then I look good on the outside.
Yes, you said mindfulness. So tell our audience what mindfulness means, because sometimes people hear it and don't really understand what mindfulness is.
Absolutely. I would say one way of mindfulness is presence, the ability to actually be present in what is happening right now. You're not worried about the woes of tomorrow, and you're no longer concerned about what happened in the past. So mindfulness is really being present in this moment. And then mindfulness and integration to your life is actually taking that principle of being present and choosing to be present with the tasks that are going to lead you in the direction and the goal that you have for now. And so it's the ability to understand when you need to set boundaries. It's the awareness of knowing, oh, my body is dehydrated. Let me drink water, not let me get a cup of lemonade. Um, I'm a diabetic and my sugar levels, I can feel it because I'm perfectly present within my own body. I don't need to do the test in order to know that my sugar levels are either too high or too low right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am a woman who is currently ministrating, and my ministration has changed. It has become longer, heavier, lighter, but I am mindful of what is happening on the inside of my body. So mindfulness is being present, and the integration of that into our daily lives is being present in all aspects of our body at all times. And for some people, they're already a lot more attuned to that, and those would be those individuals that we often hear speak of being empaths, and they're not just attuned to themselves, but they're in tune to the energy and the environment around them and how other people are feeling around them. So I hope that explains it well.
Yeah, and that was a great explanation. Also, it kind of connects going back to when you were saying, to me anyway, when you were saying about doing things in small tasks, like
Yeah.
being mindful in that moment to journal,
Mm-hmm.
to just concentrate on the task that you're doing at that moment, and not letting other things, like you said, setting boundaries, not letting those other things that would distract you to get in the way of what you're doing in those moments, so you can accomplish what you need to accomplish internally, not just externally. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
so that's great. Okay, so I have a lot of listeners out there that are like me, in that menopausal stage. So I'm not ashamed to say that I am going
No, we got to talk about it
through it.
more. We really
Yes,
do, because
yes,
everybody needs to know when we get there. Like, womanhood doesn't have to be a mystery. There are so many women ahead of us. Like,
yes.
tell us the things, please.
And it's different for everybody,
It
right? and
is.
and
Yeah.
so your clients that might be going through, what things have been helpful for them, because it's not just the hot flashes, the cold flashes, the sweats.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of, your body is just going through a lot of different things,
Absolutely.
hormonally and physically. So how do you help your clients with, with those things that they might be dealing with, those women
Yeah.
going through menopause?
So diet, and a constant regimen, if you can, of getting lab work so you can see where your numbers are. And this is if you want to do everything in a natural route. When you come to me, I am going to talk about the natural stuff. I'm not going to talk
Mhm.
about the medicine, although I am not opposed to anyone doing hormone replacement therapy or getting any of the prescriptions that you feel that you need that would best assist you. I'm not advocating
Right.
against it. I'm just saying
Right.
that I'm not a doctor. I can't write no prescriptions, but
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
I can do is tell you about food. So we have a lot of foods that have estrogen in it. So speaking specifically to menopause, we have a lot of foods that already have estrogen in it. And so if you are just heavy and actually like preparing those meals and eating that in your house on a regular basis, you're helping yourself out. God is an amazing God in the sense of that. He actually created the things that we need to look like what we need them to look like. So, for example, avocados are one of those things. And if you open an avocado, you got the seed in the middle and it looks like a womb. So, if you're
Mhm.
having issues with your womb, you eat more avocados. And so, all of these fruits look like that. Collard greens are another one that is really good for balancing out the hormones and things that are in your body. And if when you look at a collard green, you hold the whole leaf up, it has all of the different vines that are moving through it, similar to how our blood flow is moving. So it lets you know, like, hey, I'm here for your blood flow and your hormones and the things that are flowing through your body. Um, and so what I would look up is all estrogen rich foods. And I would bring those into my diet as much as possible, which is the same thing, hormone replacement therapy. They are replacing certain hormones in your body that are not at the optimal levels. And so that's why I say like consistent lab work. Find out, is it your progesterone that's off? Is it your estrogen that is lacking? Is it the testosterone in your body that is lacking? And all of these things can be fixed with a plant, a fruit, a seed. Um, Honestly, it does require a lot of it, right? Like a lot of collard greens, or consistency, right, in the collard greens, right, every
Right.
single day, or a big amount 3 times a week or something like that. Um,
Hmm.
but from a natural perspective, that is how I would help my people, and then also stay away from the things that causes the symptoms. I just recently told a friend of mine who was going through menopause that caffeine causes hot flashes, and she said, "What? What you mean?" And I said exactly what you just said. Caffeine will cause you to have a hot flash. And mind you, like many of us consume caffeine all throughout the day. And so
Right.
I
Right.
know there are so many women who are in menopause who are like, oh, I'm gonna go to coffee with my girls. Okay, great. Hot flash. Why are you sitting there? And it's not even just a hot cup of coffee. You could be drinking iced coffee. You're going to
Right.
cause yourself to have a hot flash.
Right.
Certain chocolate. So also like actually
Mhm.
being aware of the things that hurt you, uh,
Mhm.
to to say the least. There's even teas, right? And we're all like, oh, tea is good. Herbal tea is good. Black tea is good. Tea is simple. There are certain teas that strip iron from your body. So if you're
Mm.
struggling with iron, then there's a group of teas that you shouldn't drink because you got iron issues. So
Right.
that is what I would say is food. Food is medicine.
Yeah, and that caffeine is in a lot of things. We think coffee is the main thing that we think about if I stop coffee, but they're in different, like you said, different foods. There's caffeine in teas, so you just have to read the label. You gotta read the
Read the label,
label.
do a couple
Read the
Googles here
label.
and there and be like, what is everything that has caffeine in it? And then go through that's one thing that I always tell all my clients too. If you're changing your lifestyle, everything that you're not supposed to have, get it out your house. Make it the difficult thing to have. And so, like for me, my weakness is Cheez Its. You will never find Cheez Its in this house. Okay. If
Mhm.
I want Cheez Its and I'm absolutely craving Cheez Its and I have to have it, I got to get up. I got to go to the gas station. And I have to consider that at the gas station, I'm about to spend $3, $4 for this
Right,
little
right.
teeny bag of this quote unquote snack. Or I can
Mhm.
go the longer route, go all the way in the grocery store, go to Al, whatever it is, get the
Right.
box for, $4 or $5, bring it
Hmm.
back. And like, I just make it difficult. So don't
Yeah,
have it in the
yeah.
house.
Yeah, I'm starting to do stuff like that where for me, I have grandchildren. They selling Girl Scout cookies, right? So I bought some Girl Scout cookies, knowing that I don't really need these cookies
Mm-hmm.
And I try to put them in a place where I'm not going to go often, and of course I'm going to go into it. But there are other things that people might ask me to buy, and I know that I'm either really not going to eat it or I don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked, I was like, oh, I can donate. So then I donate versus buying for me personally those items, and it keeps me away from it. So there are, like I said, make it inconvenient for yourself
Yep.
so we won't be able to get to those items. Or if there's a fundraiser, something, just donate, and then
Right.
you won't get it. Give it away to somebody else, so you won't
Yeah.
even get
And
it.
tell your friends and family, tell your coworkers what your goals are.
Mm,
Um, they will help you, and not meaning that they're going to tell you what to eat or not eat, but
right.
if you have people who genuinely care about you and love you, and you tell them, hey, I have this goal, and so I don't want to go to the steak and cheese place that we always go to anymore, I don't want to go to this grill anymore, two things
Mm,
are going to happen. They're going to either go without you and not even tell you they're going, so you won't have
right.
fear of missing out, or they're going to be like, well, cool, when I hang out with you, we're going to eat here instead because it's more important that I'm spending time with you than it is that we have to go to this pizza place. I can go to the pizza place after work. I go to the pizza place with my other homegirl who can actually eat this right now. And so we
Right.
really do falter when we don't tell the people around us. And this includes your children. Like my nieces
Mm,
and my nephews, if I tell them that auntie has a goal and they see me grab something I'm not supposed to grab, auntie, you're not supposed to have that. I thought you said you wasn't having it until next Saturday. And I'd be like, you right. You right. Let me go ahead.
right. Right.
I'm gonna put it back. And I've watched them do the same thing with their parents. Like
Mm,
when they're like losing weight, and I even tell my clients that too. I said, hey, let your kids be a part of it. Let your kids help you cook the healthy food that you're supposed to
right.
eat. Makes them curious about your diet instead of you having to cook a meal for them, a meal for your husband, a meal
Mhm.
for yourself. Like you got to tell people what you're trying to do.
Accountability.
Yeah, and then
Accountability
people who love
partners.
you
Yes.
will join up in it.
Yes.
It's just what it is. But if they
Yes.
don't know, then they're not joining. They're not joining up in it. They don't know how important this is to you. And I am being very honest when I say the people who love you. So you take
Right.
that with a grain of salt, okay? Because
Yeah.
who don't see you win, you they don't
They'll
know.
be offering, hey, you want some chips?
Yeah,
Hey, you
you
want some ice
need to think
cream?
about that,
Hey, you
okay?
want Yes, I love it, love it. So we are almost done, but I want you to one share about any upcoming events, activities, programs that you might have going on. Do that first.
Absolutely. At this current time, I don't have any specific programs. It's just wanting to be here to offer people stretch therapy and yoga instruction. So please call on me if your organization wants to do something like a wellness day or a wellness moment at your organization. If you are looking for a stretch session and you want to understand it better, please reach out to me. I also do consultations and help people and coach them through nutrition and just overall finding a holistic plan that works for their lifestyle. But for 2026, we have not yet put any events or special activities on the calendar yet. I just did something, a couple things in February, and so there's nothing yet on the calendar for March or April and stuff. So just the services that I always offer, they are available to be booked right there on my website.
All
Um,
right, all
Studios
right.
in Camp Springs, Maryland. So if you are book a stretch session, that's where you'll be coming to.
Okay, and they can contact you at Sophia SoPhit, and it's SoPhit wellness.com,
Yes.
or at Sophia at SoPhitWellness.com. And
Yes.
that is SoPhit wellness.com.
Yes.
And tell us again about how you, the PHIT.
Oh, so originally it still fits though. The PHIT is a personal health identity track.
Yeah.
So it's always been about helping people find what their health and identity looks like for them. Yes.
Yes, yes. Well, we are definitely going to keep in touch with you. We'll
Yes.
probably try to have you back again, and make sure that you are sharing with us the information about any upcoming activities or events so our audience can know. And those that are listening now, make sure that you're going to her website right now
Mm-hmm.
and signing up on her website, because I saw where you can sign up on your website to get
Yes.
information. So make sure
Yes.
you are doing that right now before you even get off of this session. Sophia, thank you so much for being my guest tonight. I am so glad to have had you, and I've learned a lot. I need to book a session with you to
Yes.
get one of those stretch sessions and to learn more. I need to also probably need a couple of more things like some weight loss and
Oh, all
and,
the things.
and
And I
some
do mobile stretch sessions too. So I can come to you and you in the wellness of your own house, come get your session and get back in the bed.
that
If that's what
see
you want. I mean,
right.
yeah.
And hey, being mobile, that's great. I mean, you probably get more people now. They know that you can come to them.
Yes.
Then you might get some more people. So make sure that you're out there listening, whether you're listening live now or you're listening to a recording, that you contact Sophia so you can get in on one of her sessions and get fit. So thank you again, Sophia, and thank you everyone for listening. You all have a great evening, and until next time, make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the Royal Nugget so you can keep up with every episode that comes out. Thank you, everyone, and have a great evening.
Thank you.